Hello guys, welcome back to LR Anime. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Flame Emperor episode number 435 based on novel. So let's start. I didn't expect that girl to have such a terrifying background. Seeing that this piece of heaven and earth that had already collapsed was easily restored to its original state by the divine power of Myra, and the perpetrators were also taken away by him, Xiao Yan sensed that many forces in his body were rapidly recovering under the brilliance of the angel. Couldn't help but speak. However, even though this catastrophe ended with such a dramatic scene, Xiao Yan felt that this incident was extremely unreal until a few minutes later. When I first came to Dodi continent, I happened to rescue a woman, and then with the help of my uncle, the Golden Dragon King, he awakened her, and finally was sent to a special space. Originally it was just a very small thing, but it laid the groundwork for today's decades later. At that time, the Golden Dragon King had said that this girl had a terrifying background and that her achievements in the future would be limitless. Until now, Xiao Yang finally believed it. The girl named Qing Yuan has an extremely terrifying status in the Kingdom of Angels. It was so terrifying that Myra, who was able to make the guard archangel personally guard, and the 6th level strength 7 wing Myra changed her face in an instant. The Queen of Angels, the 4-character divine power still exists. It's finally over. After passing the breath, the Soul Eater and the Demon Emperor looked at each other and smiled bitterly. Unexpectedly, the final outcome was taken by Xiao alone, so he couldn't help but look at Xiao Yang a few more times. This kid actually saved the Angel Queen. The Queen of Angels is the of the angel family. Her words and power are above the entire world, and no one can disobey. This guy seems a little decisive. After a while, Xiao Yang looked at the holy city of the Holy Sea, which had been restored to its original state, and said in a trembling voice, "Although that incident was true, doesn't Mila seem too decisive? Come on. You brat is good at being cheap. Angels have special means to detect your breath, so they won't recognize the wrong person." The Soul Eater came to Xiao Yang's side in one fell swoop, slapped Xiao Yang's body, and laughed. The countless powerhouses below are also disturbing one after another, and they cherish the feeling of the rest of their lives after the catastrophe. We have to go. Staying here for too long will attract the powerhouses in the center of the human world, and then it will be troublesome. The Demon Emperor and Liu Yun embraced each other and came to Xiao Yang and said that Liu Yun was successfully rescued, and the Demon Emperor would probably continue his journey to restore his power. Xiao Yang and the Master of Soul Eater nodded at the same time, saying that they were quite satisfied with the pair in front of them. A sound. The Demon Emperor and Liu Yun didn't stop there too much. The Demon Emperor tore them at random, and a time-space wormhole emerged. The two disappeared in an instant. The final victory should be left to Xiao Yang and the others. However, the next time we meet, whether it is Xiao Yang or the Demon Emperor, I am afraid that the strength will change extremely terribly. We have already begun to investigate the matter of the Xiao family. But it's obviously not the time for you to worry about these things now. The Holy Sea, the branch above Doyun continent, has left, and there is no giant sect on Dodi continent. For you, this place may be a good one. Place. I'm optimistic about you. The Master of Soul Eater took back the Soul Eater talisman, also stood in the void, and headed towards the ghost world. At the last moment, Xiao Yang's voice pointed out a path for Xiao Yang. Congratulations to the teacher. Xiao Yang nodded his head, naturally knowing that these great powers rashly entered the human world territory on the pretext of their own realm, and they were taking a big risk. But keep this kindness in mind. After all, no one will come here without any reason. Xiao Yang. Brat. This time, we won. You are the biggest hero of this battle. Jiyu Xingtian, Jiyu Yuan and the others came to Xiao Yang together, and spoke to Xiao Yang with a smile. There was no way to add praise in their voices. If it wasn't for Xiao Yang's fault this time, I'm afraid that the outcome of this battle would be really unpredictable. In the middle stage of the 8-star fighting immortals, Sheng Yang, alchemist, and even the savior of the Angel Queen in the Kingdom of Angels in the Great Thousand Worlds. With so many titles, Xiao Yang's identity has surpassed all the powerhouses here. Many supreme elders who were as strong as the Samsara rank also respected Xiao Yang as an opponent of the same rank, and did not dare to underestimate him any longer. Everyone, please come back. The Holy Cease rule has completely disintegrated today, and the next Dodi continent will be reborn with new vitality, and it will also prosper like never before. Xiao Yang cupped his hands and smiled at the many strong men. As for the unification of the entire Dodi continent, he was not in a hurry. With the shock of this incident, what was needed was only a matter of time. In that case, I'll go back after waiting. The Lord Xiao Yang is very powerful, and he will come to the door to thank him another day. A series of polite voices were cast towards Xiao Yang, and all the strong people left the Holy See Holy City one after another. As for the remaining Holy City guards, some archbishops in red clothes of Miller would naturally come to clean up. Let's go too. There should be a lot of things among the 7 ancient clans. We will discuss the affairs of Dodi continent after the end of the matter. Watching the other super sect powerhouses leave, surrounded by ancient clan chiefs and elders, Xiao Yang couldn't help rolling his eyes. Xiao Yang knew their thoughts, but Xiao Yang also had his own abacus in his heart. The fame of Xiao Yang, the owner of the Endless Fire territory, still needs time to spread, and it just happened to use this incident to shock the entire continent. In 1 month, we will hold another meeting at the Doyun Shrine. As for the purpose of the meeting, I'm sure your kid understands it too. Jiyu Xingtian spoke slowly, his voice was quite funny, he didn't want to let Xiao Yang go easily. Okay. Xiao Yang nodded and said with a dashing smile. At this point, many strong people have left the Holy City one after another, went back to recuperate, and waited for the Holy Altar meeting in a month. A month later, I am afraid that the rules of Doyun continent will be reformulated, and the so-called rule overlord now has a very clear choice, and now they are scattered, just to rectify their respective forces in the distance, the edge of Doyun continent. Feng Lao. The location of the Holy See seems to be cloudy, doesn't it? At this time, among the bright traps here, Feng Lao and several strong men walked out quite embarrassed, and looked at the place where the Holy See was in the distance, where the fluctuations had gradually become quiet. No, let's go. When Feng Wana heard this, her body suddenly moved as if she had expected something. The continental void was imprisoned, and they could only take some flying beasts to advance, so they wasted a lot of time, and even when they finally stepped into the edge of Doyun continent, they fell into the Pope's light trap and wasted a great opportunity to fight. Wait. The spatial confinement seems to have disappeared. Several strong men behind him murmured instantly. What happened? The void here is intact. When they came to the Holy See Holy City, many servants here had already started to pack their bags, and there was a faint trace of the overall movement of the Holy See. I'm afraid the battle is over. Go back to the Endless Fire territory. Feng Wana lowered her eyes with a gleam of light, the void collapsed, and she suddenly returned to the Endless Fire territory. With the end of the catastrophe in the Holy See Holy City, Xiao Yang's deeds will undoubtedly spread in a very short period of time. After all, there are those strong people who have experienced catastrophe, so there is no need for Xiao Yang to worry too much. In a few days, the entire Dodi continent will know about it. On the other side, the headquarters of the Endless Fire territory is located on the Xianling mountain of the Xianling continent. At this time, the figures are quite busy, and many departments with a clear division of labor operate the entire Endless Fire territory, and at the same time deliver countless freshness to the Endless Fire territory. Blood. The main hall. This is a very grand hall in the Endless Fire area. The main hall is a hall for the 2 mistresses to deal with many things in the Endless Fire area on weekdays. It is extremely serious. Here, all the orders are done by the 2 master mothers themselves, and only with their approval can one order after another be carried out. Therefore, for a long time, there has been no flaw in the Endless Fire territory. No, I have to go take a look. In the empty hall, Cai Lin sat on the golden-purple seat, and her icy eyes revealed a strong sense of worry. Obviously, it was too late to look up the letter on the table, and a gorgeous color light appeared on her body. There is a faint trace of wanting to go to Doyun continent. Miss Kaylin. At this time, seeing Kaylin so restless, Mu Yingying held onto her fragrant shoulder with her slender hand, and didn't say much. It was obvious that the 2 of them had the same thoughts. The Holy See is too powerful, they have the strength to rule the entire Dodi continent. Endless Fire territory is on the right track. Even if I'm not here, with your help, it can still run stably. I have to go this time. The look in Kaylin's eyes is very firm. There has been no news of Xiao Yang for a long time, which makes the reverse scale in her heart fiercely touched. With her control over the Endless Fire domain for a long time, she naturally knows the relationship between the Holy See and Doyun continent over the entire Dodi continent. Serving size. Do not. Miss Kaylin. I've already belonged to him, and this time I'll go with you. Let's go. Mu Yingying smiled sweetly, 2 flames converged in the icy hall, and a crack in the void emerged, tearing apart the void here. Seeing this, Kaylin nodded slightly to him, and immediately the 2 held hands and stepped towards the void together. At the same time, a certain void passage in the hall began to creep strangely, and the golden flames turned into several golden crows, which slowly lit up the place. The dazzling golden flames were extremely dazzling, and it seemed that a figure was about to emerge. This is... Mu Yingying wondered. It seems that this aura is quite good, and there are fluctuations of holy flames in it. Zuna is out. Kaylin closed the crack in the void at will, then held Mu Yingying's jade hand in her palm, quietly looking at the void in the distance. This place has long been linked to the underground palace of endless fire territory, so if Zuna leaves the customs, she will appear here as soon as possible. Is that Zuna? At this moment, Mu Yingying couldn't help but lowered her head in shame. For some unknown reason, even her chest began to tremble slightly, as if she was extremely afraid of this figure. Sister Kaylin, I haven't seen you for a long time, you are really getting more and more beautiful. Zuna Tingting strolled, walked out of the golden flames, and came to Kaylin with a smile, quite happy. The same to you. Kaylin's beautiful eyes stretched out, and after Zuna retreated, her strength was stronger than before. By the way, what about brother Xiao Yang? Zuna suddenly remembered something, and hurriedly asked with concern, but Zuna was keenly aware that the woman behind Kaylin seemed to have something else on her mind at this time, and its eyes didn't dare to look at him at all, and vaguely avoided him, as if he was afraid of himself. Xiao Yang has gone to the Holy See now, and we are about to go. Let's go together. Hearing Zuna say this, Kaylin immediately said in a deep voice, and a rare chill appeared in her voice. What's up? Zuna was startled, as if a bad premonition swept out. The powerhouses of the entire continent have gathered their strength to attack the Holy See, and now they are surrounded by the Holy City. I am afraid the war is imminent. Kaylin said so. No, let's go. While speaking, Zuna couldn't care about other things, her body trembled, and she hurriedly prepared to step through the void and head towards Doyun continent. As the new generation patriarch of the ancient clan, Zuna naturally knows a lot about the Holy See, so she also knows that it is completely nonsense to want to overthrow such a giant. By the way, this lady, may I ask? When the three girls were about to leave, Zuna looked at Mu Yingying and suddenly said something. From the beginning to the end, with Zuna's understanding of Kaylin, this woman must be so close to Kaylin, her status is definitely not low. Stunned. After being asked by Zuna, Mu Yingying's body instantly froze, standing in a stalemate in mid-air, looking up at Zuna who was in the mid-air. Only then did she see her delicate body. The light and graceful 3,000 blue silks are hanging down, the delicate face, the small and agile face, the moving eyes, and several advantages outline the whole body like a fairy, and can't find any flaws. It is so beautiful. As suffocating. At this time, Zuna looked at Mu Yingying with beautiful eyes, and found that the latter finally looked at her. She couldn't help but turn her eyes away. How can it be? Seeing this, Zuna noticed something from Mu Yingying's eyes, and her body shrank like an electric shock. That's right. She is Xiao Yang's third. At this time, Kaylin could only come forward to explain with a helpless expression. Impossible. When Zuna saw this, there was a hint of arrogance in her beautiful eyes. With a low roar, the surrounding void suddenly collapsed for several meters, as if it was swallowed up by some mysterious giant in an instant. As a woman, and she was the proud daughter of the giant family on Dochi continent at the beginning, she was very possessive towards Xiao Yang, but the appearance of Kaylin could only make Zuna mute to eat Huang Lian. If the love that is divided into two is separated, I am afraid Kaoru will be the first to run wild. Xianling continent is Xiao Yanchu's first stop to Dakian. Her name is Mu Yingying. The predecessor was a holy flame on the holy flame list. In order to find his brother, he converted to human beings and entered the Xianling continent. When I met Xiao Yang, all kinds of things happened, and I even sacrificed my life for Xiao Yang in the end. Kaylin walked towards Zuna step by step like a big sister who was close to her. She comforted her and stimulated her, because this kind of thing would be exposed sooner or later. No, don't say any more. Zuna was in a very low mood at this time, the corners of her mouth pouted viciously, and a rather terrifying anger emerged. Sister Kaylin, stop talking. I'm going. Seeing Zuna's arrogant posture, Mu Yingying also pursed her lips, and then walked slightly towards the outside of the hall. Zuna raised her slender hand and roared towards a dark shadow in the hall. Tear it off. The shadow was unprepared, and was hit straight, and suddenly a familiar man appeared. Oh, the three queens spare your life. Xiao Yang scratched his head and looked innocently at the three swordsmen in front of him. Sister Zuna, are you jealous? Seeing the angry Zuna who kept chasing Xiao Yang in the hall, Mu Yingying covered the corner of her mouth sweetly and said with a smile. Obviously at this moment, both Kaylin and Zuna acquiesced in their existence, and a long-lost relief and happiness lingered in Mu Yingying's heart. A month later. The next day, the warm sunshine scattered over the soil of the entire earth. Dozens of supersects and ancient races on the Doyun continent took the lead, and the big figures representing their respective forces hurried out early in the morning and headed towards the Holy See Holy City. And go! In addition, the other 3 continents above the Dodi continent also have several powerful people with good identities and positions to go to the Holy See Holy City. Of course, in addition to the Doyun continent, the other 3 continents are above. The powerhouses are almost all under the command of the Endless Fire territory. Some ordinary people couldn't help but look up and see the looming big figures in the endless void, as if they had a hunch in their hearts, and the next Dodi continent may have a new pattern. But no matter who takes the place of the Holy See, it will bring the entire Dodi continent back to life. Furthermore, the Dakian world is constantly fighting in the dark, and it is extremely unsafe. If this huge Dodi Sifang continent does not have a decent force in charge, it will inevitably be invaded by some other forces that are eyeing for it. Within a month, all the sect forces recovered their vitality, and after the return of the red-clothed Archbishop Miller and Liu Qing, they relied on the angels to leave the entire Holy See, and then they were moved away from the Dodi continent, so the Holy See. Above the city, there are only empty halls. At the same time, this place has now evolved into a very tense meeting place. As for today's theme, I am afraid it is to re-screen out the new hegemonic forces above Dodi continent and use it as a representative of Dodi continent. The seniors of the 7 ancient clans have all arrived. Princess Xingqian from Tianxing continent has also arrived. Representatives of the major supersects have also arrived one after another. In a rather empty conference room inside the Holy City, Xiao Yang sat on the top of the table, and Kaelin looked around and said, "As for Mu Yingying and Zuna, now one represents the ancient clan, and the other represents the endless fire domain. But rather domineering sitting on the side. There are about 100 people in the conference room. These guys are quite fluctuating, and they are all leaders in their respective regions. Being able to enter here is enough to show their status and strength. After all, these guys are now on the Do Emperor continent. Of all forces. Since everyone is here, let's start discussing the business." Xiao Yang got up and bowed his hands in a humility to many strong men. Among the 100 people here, apart from Xiao Yang and the 3 women and a few strong men who are quite young, the rest are middle-aged or old people with high morals, so Xiao Yang's move is essential. Xiao Yang's etiquette has made these powerhouses feel good about Xiao Yang. In addition, Xiao Yang is rumored to have an affair with the Kingdom of Angels. This guy with the strength in the middle stage of the 8-star fighting immortals will undoubtedly become the focus of this meeting. I wonder if Brother Xiao Yang has any plans? As Xiao Yang jumped into the theme first, a kind-hearted old man in the conference room said with a smile, with a strong sense of pride in his words. The supersect of Doyun continent, the old monster Yun Fusheng of Yunlan Pavilion, and the late 8-star Do Xian are not bad. Xiao Yang nodded to the old man, and after a while, the words also filled the air, but this late stage of the 8-star fighting immortals did not pose any threat to Xiao Yang. Either 7 ancient clans have acquiesced to the endless fire domain behind them to become the dominant force in the Dodi continent. Now this kind of meeting is naturally held to solve some other dissatisfied forces. However, the ancient 7 clans who were as strong as the reincarnation powerhouse did not say much. In Xiao Yang's opinion, it was too self-righteous. Although Brother Xiao Yang has a close relationship with the Kingdom of Angels, he is too young, so I propose that such a major event should be conducted by voting. Furthermore, among the 7 ancient clans, whether it is the 7 clan chiefs or the supreme elders of their respective clans, I am afraid they are much more authoritative than Brother Xiao Yang. Am just telling the truth. I hope Brother Xiao Yang will not misunderstand. At the end of the conversation, Yun Fusheng quickly changed his explanation. Hearing this, 100 people quickly looked at it. In the face of this guy's ridicule and doubts, Xiao Yang said with a calm smile, "The Holy See has been destroyed by us, and the shadow of Dodi continent's thousands of years of rule in the Holy See has completely disappeared. But due to the special nature of Dodi continent and the departure of the Holy See, there must be a powerful force to stand up. Otherwise this large piece of land will be invaded by other continents in the human world. As for holding such a meeting today, the purpose is also very obvious. The 7 ancient clans have already agreed with my approach. The younger generation respects that all of you here are elders, so I dare to mention it." "What?" Yun Fusheng's heart sank and asked. "Today is the day when my endless fire territory becomes the new overlord of Dodi continent. If you don't agree, you can take action against me. If I lose to anyone here, Xiao Yang will keep silent about this matter." Of course, if you still don't agree after that, then this junior will have to force your entire sect out of Dodi continent. Xiao Yang's eyes became deep, and he stared at Yun Fusheng fiercely, which actually caused him to have a burst of fearful heart palpitations. This guy. Hearing Xiao Yang's arrogant voice, the eyes of many strong people present became slightly cold, and they said in a low voice, "Hee, don't worry, everyone. Xiao Yang means to unite all the forces of our entire Dodi continent and put them under the command of the Endless Fire Territory to form a true transcendental force. All of you here are also enjoying the resource sharing of Endless Fire Domain. Help each other when you are in trouble, and Endless Fire Domain will not interfere with your sect location and internal affairs. Of course, if you don't agree, I'm afraid you can only use coercion. Please leave the Do Emperor continent. After all, from today onwards, this continent will use the Endless Fire Territory as the only external propaganda force." At the same time, Jiyu Yuan and other ancient clan chiefs behind Xiao Yang stood up gently and laughed together. "Since that's the case, let's go under the command of Endless Fire Territory. The 7 ancient clans, let you be dispatched by the Endless Fire Domain. For Xiangzong, join us together." Looking at the 7 ancient clans taking the lead, the powerhouses behind them weighed it, and there was not much hesitation. One after another, the powerhouses expressed their opinions and agreed with the theme of this meeting. Forming a force was an imminent matter, but what they were most worried about was that the Endless Fire Territory would interfere in the internal affairs of their sect. With Xiao Yang's statement, they were also relieved to join it. Immediately, this meeting went unexpectedly smoothly. Even if there were a few sect's worries, they were resolved neatly after the respite. With the injection of the power of these guys, the development of the Endless Fire Territory will grow exponentially. I am afraid that the power of the Endless Fire Territory will approach the Holy See or even surpass the Holy See soon. After the unification of the Endless Fire Territory had passed, the entire Dodi continent had an unprecedented unity, the resources of the 4 continents were shared, and the strength and resources of the other 3 continents were also rapidly chasing after the Doyun continent. In the past, because of the Holy See and the Doyun continent, resources were relatively concentrated, and the other 3 continents were more barren than each other. Now, under the rule of the Endless Fire Territory, the resources of the 4 continents are vaguely distributed evenly. It is the construction of several space channels, whether it is used to support rescue or the transmission of resource information, it has become extremely prosperous and simple. The name of Xiao Yang, the owner of the Endless Fire Territory, has become a household name in the Dodi continent. After all, after this union, all the forces have received the resources and help of the Endless Fire Territory, so they have a high opinion. These resources are drawn from the ancient races, but they also enjoy it. After all, these old guys are naturally very clear about the reason why a big tree can enjoy the shade. Nowadays, the most discussed are the 3 mistresses in the Endless Fire Territory, because after the unification of the Dodi continent, the Endless Fire Territory is worked by the 3 mistresses all day long, regardless of their strength, appearance or form, have won the respect of countless people. In contrast, the domain owner Xiao Yang has evaporated like the human world, and did not appear in the Endless Fire Domain. As for the many treasures in the Holy See, they were taken away by Miller and Liu Qing and left here. After the catastrophe of the Holy See, the 2 have no face to see Xiao Yang. In the forbidden area of the Medicine Tribe, this is a valley full of emerald green. In the valley, the fragrance of birds and flowers, one after another, is full of rich life breath, lingering out. Xiao Yang was slowly closing his eyes and resting in the center of the valley with a slightly raised plateau. When he swallowed and inhaled, a rather mysterious soul force swept out, which seemed rather mysterious. Beside him, an old-fashioned old man sat quietly. Yarrow Tianmo, the supreme elder of the Medicine Clan, is an 8th-rank alchemist of the Holy Order. Well, the breath is almost conditioned. In addition to the soul power that you have already stepped into the void transformation realm, you can now directly attack the 8th-grade Holy Pharmacist. Yarrow Tianmo looked at Xiao Yang with admiration and smiled lovingly. In the 10 days after the meeting, after Xiao Yang had appeased the 3 women, he handed over many matters of the Endless Fire Territory to the 3 women. Instead, he joined the Yarrow clan and concentrated on listening to Yarrow Tianmo. With the guidance, prepare to realize your own path to the 8th grade of the Holy Order. In 10 days, Yarrow Tianmo has explained everything to himself in detail, and now he has a lot of experience. Several powers have returned to their peak positions, and Yarrow Tianmo is by his side, which is naturally an excellent shock time. Saint-rank 8th-grade pharmacists are no ordinary pharmacists, but they are comparable to those of ordinary pharmacists. Even with the lowest medicinal materials, we can make a real magic medicine in our hands, but the cumbersome process discourages many pharmacists. Precious medicinal materials are naturally the best prerequisite for refining holy pills. At the time of your breakthrough, you must use your own soul power to comprehend the heaven and the earth, and capture the ethereal breath of the holy soul between the heaven and the earth. Only after passing through the thunder tribulation can you completely break away from the holy rank. Before the breakthrough, even if you are talented, you can't refine holy pills without using any borrowing methods. Yarrow Tianmo laughed. Well, this junior knows. Xiao Yang nodded. The medicinal pill that he had refined had already been given to Kaylin, but Xiao Yang knew that the success of refining in that medicinal clan ceremony was a coincidence. Extremely difficult to succeed. Less than the 8th rank of the holy rank, it is impossible to refine the holy elixir. Let's start. I will protect the law for you. Yarrow Tianmo waved his big hand, and the thick green energy was like a liquid, completely sealing the valley of the forbidden area of the Yarrow family. Wong buzzing. Immediately, Xiao Yang closed his eyes, and the spiritual palace in his body suddenly wriggled. Countless soul energies surged up, and the powerful soul power caused the entire valley to tremble slightly. The ground shook and the mountains shook, which was quite shocking. It's really an out-and-out little monster. It seems that every one of the descendants of the Xiao family is so terrifying. It was really a pity back then. Many elders in the clan were pedantic, so they didn't follow the Xiao clan across the world. Even if the Dodi continent is the top-ranked continent in the human world, it is not the top after all. Sigh. Seeing Xiao Yang like this, Yarrow Tianmo smiled helplessly. His voice was full of vicissitudes. Whoa. With Yarrow Tianmo's guidance, Xiao Yang's breakthrough to the 8th rank of the Holy Order was only a matter of course. On the other side, on Shenling Mountain, the base camp of the Endless Fire Territory, Xiao Zifan, Mufeng and others sat here quietly, handling many things for the Endless Fire Territory, but these guys are obviously hidden by the Endless Fire Territory, and they will not show it easily. Otherwise, the descendants of Xiao Zifan and the descendants of the Xiao clan, as well as the fire of Luo Manglan's holy flame, may cause a lot of troubles. But I have to say that the 36 sacred flames that are extremely precious in the Great Thousand World are probably close to 10, which is extremely terrifying. The entire Dodi continent is in good weather, and the country is peaceful and peaceful. In the distance, Doyun continent's Soul Clan Soul Realm. The head of the Soul Clan, Hun Tianhao, is stationed here. The guards here are heavily guarded, and the void in the inner house wriggles slightly, and the figure of Hun Tianhao emerges. It's not a bad thing after all. Hun Tianhao just returned to his station, looked around, and repeatedly checked that there was no suspicious atmosphere in his house. With a wave of his hand, a gloomy ghost barrier completely enveloped the house. After doing all this, Hun Tianhao just flicked his fingers, and suddenly 4 ice-cold bodies appeared on the ground. Above the 4 icy bodies, there is already no vital temperature, but it is not difficult to find out that the fluctuations on their bodies are not bad. Not only have the strength of the 8-star fighting immortals, but even one person has reached the strength of reincarnation, and if the elders of the ancient races are here, they will find their identities. The 4 masters of the Dodi continent. That guy from Heavenly Emperor, I'm afraid he is too busy with the extraterritorial evil clan now, so he doesn't have time to manage these things. I'm really willing to send the guardians of the 4 planes of Dodi continent. While speaking, a milky white flame slowly emerged from his fingertips, and then easily wrapped around the 4 corpses. At that time, the void burst open, and terrifying power swept out, extremely mysterious. The milky white flame just touched the corpse, and the 4 corpses immediately evaporated and disappeared. Even the corpses of the reincarnation powerhouses disappeared in an instant. The milky white flames had a faint aura of God's rising, and that kind of breath made people feel suffocation is definitely not reincarnation. No, Xiao Yang's strength still can't touch the top of this world. It seems that I have to put some pressure on him. Killing the 4 of them at will, a strange smile appeared on the corner of Hun Tianhao's mouth. The gloomy aura was not proportional to the milky white flame, but this kind of power, even a demon emperor, probably wouldn't be able to detect it. The day the Xiao clan appeared, the time of the great catastrophe. Hurry up. The elegant and confident voice fell slightly, and it was quiet here, but the milky white flame that flickered in this guy's body may have an extraordinary origin. The time of January passed quietly. During this period, the development of the Endless Fire Territory can be said to have increased exponentially. The palace of the mother of the Endless Fire Territory. Now there is still no news about Senior Zhukuan. From the perspective of Soul Jade, life should be fine, but the specific traces are Xiao Yang sat on the table above the hall and muttered. After secretly breaking through the holy rank alchemist in the medicine clan, he quietly returned to the endless fire domain. The three girls today have long since formed a common battle line, and their respective thoughts have probably been almost merged. At the same time, standing not far from Xiao Yang, their expressions are complicated. Zuna devoured the Phoenix Nirvana pill, and the power in her body was vaguely related to the Phoenix family. With the power of the reincarnation seal, her power was already increasing rapidly, and it was only a matter of time before she stepped into the reincarnation, and because of the Phoenix Nirvana pill. Because of this, I am afraid that I will need to go to the Phoenix clan in the future. As for Kaylin, it devoured the Celestial Soul Transformation pill, speeding up the fusion of the power of the 10-colored blood in the body. After the fusion, the center of the demon world must be visited, but there is obviously still some distance from that time. As for Mu Yingying, relying on Fenju and 2 kinds of holy flames, plus the many benefits of her holy flames being transformed into human beings, her cultivation is also 1,000 miles away, which is quite shocking. Senior Zhu Kuan should be related to the Dragon Clan. Zuna nodded sweetly, and with the power of the reincarnation seal, she vaguely knew something vague. Next, send someone out to investigate the Fire Elves, the Phoenix Clan, and the Dragon Clan in the Great Thousand World. Soon, when I break through the cycle of reincarnation, I may go to the underworld. Xiao Yang nodded solemnly. Reincarnation. But reincarnation is quite difficult. Without great fortune and opportunity, I'm afraid. And the danger level of the underworld, to a certain extent, far exceeds that of any place in the world. Zuna couldn't help shaking her head, her expression full of worry. Don't worry, I have my own countermeasures. Xiao Yang said with a smile. After all, he has the power of the devil and the Xiao clan mark, and with the company of Feng Weiner and Xiao Zifan, he can go to the underworld to find the traces of the disappearing Xiao clan with some confidence. In another year, the once-in-a-100-year plane meeting in the Great Thousand World will be held in the void space. At that time, there may be traces of the medicinal materials that you need third on the Holy Flame list. As for other matters, I will send a special person to inquire about the information. Once there is any news, I will tell you as soon as possible. Kaylin nodded and said, he knew that Xiao Yang now has a heavier burden on his shoulders than when he was on the Dochi continent. After the rest, the atmosphere here suddenly became harmonious. The three girls were discussing some little secrets, but Xiao Yang was the only one who put them aside. Listening to the little secrets being discussed by the three girls and completely ignoring him, Xiao Yang couldn't help but have black lines all over his head. It seems that the revolution has not yet succeeded, and comrades still need to work hard. Domain Lord, 3 mistresses. The soul of the Soul Clan, Tianhao, is asking for an interview in the hall. It seems that there is something important. After a while, the door of the main hall was pushed open, and Mu Feng walked in and said with a smile, Soul Tianhao? When Xiao Yang heard this, his face was dumbfounded, but the Soul Clan had a pretty good reputation among the ancient races and even the Doyun continent. The Soul Clan and Soul Palace here are 2 extremes, not like the one in the Dochi continent. Go! After speaking, the 5 of them walked towards the hall together. The Lord of the Domain has not been seen for a month. It seems to have become a little mysterious again. Hun Tianhao's gentle face, although a gloomy meaning emerges from time to time, but overall there is not much weirdness. It's just a fluke that I broke through the holy pharmacist. Regarding this matter, Xiao Yang was not prepared to hide it any longer. The 2 looked at each other and said that it would be a good choice to spread this matter through Hun Tianhao and increase the cohesion of the Endless Fire territory. The prestige possessed by the 8th rank holy pharmacist is comparable to that of a reincarnation expert. Congratulations. Next, I'll first wish the Domain Master's magic skill in refining medicine. But there is one thing, I am afraid I need to report to the domain owner as soon as possible. Please make an early decision. Hun Tianhao's expression was surprised and joyful at first, but then instantly became solemn and said sternly, What's the matter? Seeing Hun Tianhao's serious expression, Xiao Yang couldn't help asking. Lord Domain Master should know that our Soul Clan controls the most complete intelligence network in the entire Dudi continent. Originally, I was going to hand over all the information to Endless Fire Domain Management when I came here this time, but in the middle of the journey, I found a rather bizarre thing. Soul Tianhao said to himself. Oh, a weird thing? Senior Soul, but it doesn't matter. When Xiao Yang heard this, he became slightly curious. My lord, it should have originated from the origin of our ancient race, the Dochi continent, and was promoted with amazing strength, right? Soul Tianhao muttered. Yep. After Hun Tianhao finished speaking, Xiao Yang and the three daughters cast their eyes on him together. There were only a few people who knew about this matter, and they couldn't help but wonder about this guy. According to the information I have collected, the evil tribes outside the territory are eyeing the tigers, and the powerhouses in the center of the human world are exhausted, coping with the tentative attacks of the evil tribes outside the territory emerging from all over the world, so they will neglect some places. The strong man of our clan guarding the edge of the plain received a slight call about the Dochi continent last night. Sol Tianhao's voice fell, and the atmosphere in the hall instantly solidified. A distress signal from Dochi continent. Senior Sol, is there any way for me to step into the Dochi continent? When Xiao Yang heard this, his tone suddenly became heavy. The space channel connecting the Dochi continent to the upper plane has been destroyed, and now we can only rebuild a new space channel. Even if there is a reincarnation powerhouse in our endless fire territory, it is expected to take at least 10 days. And because of the limitations of the plane, those above the Do Emperor can only step into the Dochi continent for 10 days, and they will be squeezed out, and the reincarnation level cannot go down. Of course, there are also some rare immortal artifacts that can ignore the rules and step into the Dochi continent with the power of reincarnation. It's a pity that such things are too hard to find. If you want to break the rules, I am afraid you have to go through the cycle and become the supreme being. We can gather the power of the endless fire territory to jointly build a space channel, and it will take 5 days. But in that case, only the powerhouses whose strength is lower than the 8-star Doshian perfection powerhouse can step into the Dochi continent and touch the Dochi continent. Not even reincarnators. Go ahead, we will return to Dochi continent in 5 days. Xiao Yang's voice fell, and the entire hall became silent. My subordinates will do it immediately. After Hun Tianhao finished speaking, he also left nervously. Strange, this Sol Tianhao's breath always makes me stunned. Get ready, return to Dochi continent in 5 days. Xiao Yang said to the two women beside him. I don't know what Xiao Xiao and Xiao Lin are like now. As they spoke, Zuna and Kaylin's eyes softened, and even their jade fists clenched slightly, and an indescribable worry filled the air. Decades have passed since the 5 emperors broke the sky, and now they can finally return to the Dochi continent and let the love of motherhood in the hearts of these two mistresses overflow. 5 days later, I was finally able to return to Dochi continent. I saw my former friends, my former sons and daughters, and my descendants. For a while, my mind became tense. This video will end here.